Hey, my name is Kathy Roberts. I am the Tidy Tutor, and I have been doing a blog series about authentic living or living authentically, and I kind of call it my journey, and I've asked you to follow if you wanted to. And what my story is I was right-brained, scattered by nature, and I developed a business where I help people just like me get organized. And it really changes lives, and it's a beautiful thing. Well, what happened in the period of time is I, got older, divorced, had to make changes in my life, and started to realize that my things had a lot more power over my life than I expected or I believed that they did. I was introduced to minimalism. One of my people in my Tidy Tutor World sent me some information about the minimalists.com, and I looked into them, and I thought to myself, what do we need to do this for? We get rid of stuff on a regular basis. We know our number one obstacle is too much stuff. But I looked into it anyway. I went to see them talk in New York. I got their book. I read it. And then something happened. I decided to dejunk with a minimalist mindset, because the reason that organizationally gifted people live in an organized and clutter-free home is because they dejunk on a regular basis. They don't keep anything that they don't need, love, or use. So we do that too. And I thought, why do we need to be minimalists? We normally get rid of stuff. Well, when I began to dejunk thinking minimalism instead, I started seeing my things in a different way. And I realized, well, why do I need to keep this just because there's space for it? Because what people were discovering was that they were getting happier when they had less stuff. Now, I'm not talking about people who are organizationally challenged with a mess all over the place. I mean, that's logic, right? You don't need to be a brain surgeon to figure out that if you're buried underneath so much stuff and you're living in a mess, that when you get rid of a lot of the excess and you're not living in a mess anymore, life gets happier. But what was happening for people other than right-brained, scattered by nature, I live in a disaster people, the people that were living organized and orderly lives with a lot of stuff, but their stuff was in compartments, in categories, put in places that they belonged. They weren't living in a mess. They discovered that when they got rid of the excess, even though it was organized, they got happier. Well, I went into my front porch, and I decided that I'd like to do something to it. And then I thought, I can't do that because I have too many things here that I really like. And that's when I was like, wait a minute. Why does my stuff have more power over what I want than what I want? I should be able to do what I want, right? Not think about, well, I can't do that because of these things. So I did an experiment, and I did the porch the way I believed I would want it. A little nervous because I was getting rid of stuff that I loved or liked a lot, but this is the thing. It didn't reflect who I was anymore. I was not that person that first originally decorated that room. When I started that room and I made the room yellow and I put the shelf up and I had the pictures hanging in there and that kind of thing, when I made it the way it was, I was a stay-at-home mom, married. My children were all young, playing in sports, going in school. I was a different person then than I was now. So I realized that I'm probably not living my authentic self. Now, let me read you the definition of authentic, okay? Authentic, of undisputed origin, genuine. Synonyms for authentic is genuine, real, bona fide, true, legitimate. Now let's look up genuine. Genuine means truly what someone is said to be, authentic. And then synonyms for authentic is real, actual, original, true, bona fide. All right, so if we're not living our authentic lives, who it is that we are right now, people who represent, or the environment that we live in that represents who we are now, instead of holding on to what we were, well, maybe things will change if we start looking at it that way. And I'm telling you what, so much has changed for me. Now, I already was living an organized life. That wasn't my problem. I realized what my problem was I was holding on to things that, like I said, did not represent who I was anymore. And when I began to let go of those things, and even just some other things that just seemed like, well, I don't want this, I don't need this, I'm just going to embrace this minimalist lifestyle and see what happens, even though my house was together and I really didn't have that much stuff. So much changed. Now, one of the things that changed is I was able, finally, to sell my house. I didn't need a 4-bedroom home anymore. I was holding on to it for fear because change is scary. I also moved where I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to live by the beach, and so I've done that. I moved down the shore, on the Jersey Shore. That's where I live now. Live in a little 1-bedroom apartment. The only storage I have is a closet. It's really just like a utility closet. I don't have any more stuff, and when I move from here, it's going to even get less. I'm going to even have less things than I have now. It's a process, you know. We have to move according to what we're comfortable, how we are comfortable moving. Now, here's another thing that has changed for me, and I'm going to open this in front of you because it's kind of like really exciting for me. This is my passport. All right, now for some people, it's like, well, what's the big deal? So what? You have a passport. For me, it's huge. It's huge. I never went anywhere or did anything. There's been a lot of changes in my life as, you know, these years have passed a little bit. And one of the changes is that I'm not afraid to step outside the box and instead of saying, oh, I can't do that, saying, how can I do that? How will I be able to do that? Instead of seeing limitations, I see possibilities. And I'm going to Vietnam. I know you might be saying Vietnam, but look it up. Oh my goodness, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's tropical, it's gorgeous. So I'm going to Vietnam and I'm going in November. And I had to get a passport and my passport just came. So you're looking at it at the same time as I am. I haven't seen it yet. I'm so, so excited. So let's see. Here it is. Oh my God, a passport! Who the hell do I think I am anyway? Look! Look. And I don't look so great. My picture's kind of lousy because the lady, when I took the picture, she said, you can't smile. Don't smile. So like I couldn't smile. I look kind of scary. Look at me. Do you see me? Right? But anyway, it's okay. Look! Look at it. There's the American eagle on there. Can you see it? Oh my goodness. I am so excited. It's really impressive. Look at this. Look at what's on the front little cover. It's George Washington crossing the Delaware, it looks like. And it's in his handwriting. I love George Washington. Oh my goodness. If you can ever read anything, there's love letters from George or something it's called, where because they wrote so many letters, so they have so much documentation of these people. And so there was letters that he wrote to Martha, and oh my goodness, that's the kind of guy you want to find in the world. All right, so anyway, here it is, my my passport, and I'm telling you what, all right, this couldn't have happened if it wasn't for the fact that I got organized, okay? It doesn't happen by accident. If you're living in a disaster, you're not going to be able to make your dreams come true because you can't even find a pen. And then it even goes further than that. If you get to the point where you're now just going through the motions in life, something has to change. We have to change. We have to see that the things that we want in life only happen if we go after them and we're willing to really take a look and say, how can I make that happen? Instead of putting things in the negative, put them in the positive. And here is, you know, just some evidence, and it's part of my journey anyway that you're following, is that the next step is some travel. So there's that. My name is Kathy Roberts. I am the Tidy Tutor, and if you are struggling living in a mess, then I invite you to try my course. I have it where you can get it for the first session for free, and you can check it out. I say jump right in. We spend so much money on so much stuff, and this is an investment in your life. Okay, so that's that. Thanks a lot for joining me on my journey and for experiencing the passport situation, or I should say celebration. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.